Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. It's Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. Today, I am reacting and recapping Mr. Dennis Byron's live that he did on YouTube about a couple hours ago. As you know, I will, of course, link in the bio this live that he did a couple hours ago before he left for the trial today. And he's in, as you see in the thumbnail, his Friday dress down attire. Also, big congrats to him. He is a grandfather once again. He said his daughter just had a baby boy. So congrats to Mr. Dennis Byron. So it was about a 20-minute or so live that he did. And it was funny because I think just from the stress and the turmoil and just how draining this trial has been, even though it hasn't technically overall been that long, but everybody is just stressed, everybody is drained. And it was funny because he had said, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to unwind after court. And he was like, I mean, relax. Oh man. And that's what happens is when you are so, you know, focused in and zoomed in and you're in the zone on something, it's like then you just start to pick up on, on certain things and wow. But you know, again, he wanted to reiterate, Mr. Dennis Byron, that Tasha K did lose the countersuit. So at this point, what is there for Tasha K to benefit at this point? Because there's not going to be a financial benefit for Tasha K at this point. And so then he still calls Tasha K the blogger lady, which kills me. And, you know, he's like, you know, maybe the angle for Tasha K from what he was able to observe when Tasha K was back on the stand yesterday is the possibility and potentially of her trying to attack Cardi B via the stand, trying to trigger Cardi B for a reaction, trying to say certain things to get Cardi B to act out of character through Tasha K's testimony. And this is the difference between when you have competent lawyers and you have lawyers who are not competent. Or maybe they're sabotaging you on purpose because you're writing 1-star reviews about them while they're still trying to try your case for you. So, but again, as many times Mr. Dennis Byron said yesterday that Tasha K was attempting to get, you know, some type of response, trying to elicit some type of response from Cardi B, that Cardi B didn't fall for it. And that she obviously, since she has, you know, the A-team attorneys from New York, that she has amazing trial prep. She is well prepped for this trial. And so Sarah Mates, who is the plaintiff, Cardi B attorney, she, you know, was again asking asking the questions to expose Tasha K, expose this lovely T recorded phone call. And it was weird because Mr. Dennis Byron was saying when Sarah Mates was asking questions to Tasha K and cross, Tasha K would always respond like, yeah, you know, it's me and Cardi. When me and Cardi, we had our little thing going on. It's like she's trying to attach herself in some way to make it seem as though her and Cardi B have some type of personal relationship or that they know each other personally outside of this issue. And that's just simply not the case. And Mr. Dennis Byron also had said that, you know, he felt at this point that the fight, that this ongoing thing with Cardi B at this point is playing out in Tasha K's head as if her and Cardi are like on the same level and they're going back and forth on this platform and they know each other personally and all this and that. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So, but again, you know, Mr. Dennis Byron is just trying to figure out, okay, what is the gain to try to attack Cardi B at this point? And I think for me and my takeaway is at this point, Tasha K has nothing else to do. So at this point, instead of doing what you would think at this point, if you know that the cards are stacked against you, and you know already that the judge has been dragging you and dragging your attorneys, that why not be contrite on the stand? Why not be remorseful on the stand? Why not, you know, really try to put something together that seems as though you're a human being, and you realize after seeing all of these videos and things playing back that you do not like the person on those videos and on that audio that's speaking that way, that's unprofessional, that's acting out of pocket, and knowingly repeating these lies, these defamatory statements, these slanderous statements about a celebrity, but doing it for the money, the clout, and the attention. And I just don't think Tasha K anticipated the magnitude of what this federal court case means for her and what she is at risk of losing, and potentially losing everything when it's all said and done, depending on how bad the damages will be. So, you know, and again, referring back to the Lovely T audio that was nearly 2 hours from that phone call, Tasha K again kept saying, we did this. So again, now she's, again, just like the Lovely T situation, and now she's trying to attach herself to Cardi B. It's kind of like a manipulative tactic almost, to where you're trying to paint this picture that you have all these people on your side, or that you're trying to make somebody else the scapegoat in this to excuse why you did the things that you did and why you were in the wrong, versus simply taking accountability. And it's just so weird how she leads with we, and leads with, yeah, me and Cardi, like they know each other and all this and that. And it's like, no, this is all you. You recorded your friend without her knowledge. You were the one who continued on the campaign against Cardi B when she didn't come on your show. This was all orchestrated by you. You chose to make all of these decisions. This is you that is the one that is on trial. So, and I agree with Mr. Dennis Byron, like the whole we angle just feels like it's a setup, like you're just trying to set something up to try to diminish the role that you played in everything, even though you are the puppet master, you were the person who orchestrated all of this. So in trying to say we, and yeah, me and you go way back and this and that, and trying to, you know, diminish your role in this when you are the sole person responsible for everything that's taken place, it's just a cop-out. And I'm hoping that the jury sees through it. So at this point, I think the goal was to have, you know, this go to the jury today, but it depends, because there's just been so many delays. It looks as though Monday might be the official day that everything goes to the jury, unless everything goes seamless this morning and this afternoon, potentially. So more to come on that, but likely it'll be Monday that this goes to jury. I'm curious. I cannot wait for the lunch update of what took place today. Hopefully they can get through today. So, but yeah, he just feels as though his takeaway yesterday was, since, you know, everything else has, you know, been attempted. But again, really the only attempt, the approach that the defense should have, is just say, hey, I have no defense for what I've done. I knowingly already admitted on the stand that I knew I was knowingly spreading lies about this celebrity because I was upset that she wouldn't come on my platform, and I continued to keep up the videos because I wanted the money, I wanted the revenue, I wanted the clout from all of the views and everything else that it is, you know, getting towards her revenue. But to at least have some type of reflection over the past couple of weeks in federal court, to at least come off as some type of, you know, humble, empathetic person, and still trying to put on this facade that, you know, you're still in like unwind with Tasha K mode on the stand, it's just not a good look. And trying to trigger Cardi B, or trying to say or do things and make it seem as though you and her are on the same level, or you or her on the same accord, is just not a good look. And so even Mr. Dennis Byron, and I myself as well, I question that strategy by the defense. Is that the defense's strategy, or is that Tasha K's strategy that she told the defense that she was going to do? Because at this point, it's up in the air based off of her 1-star review of Olga. So, but it's like, with everything that's happened, do you really want to perceive yourself or have yourself perceived by the jury as a bully in the courtroom as you're trying to defend yourself, even though nothing that you're saying in the stand is anywhere near defending anything that you've done? At this point, you just keep, owning it. And it's just very bizarre. It's very bizarre. Then Mr. Dennis Byron reiterated how the jury is like taking no notes for the defense. But during Cardi B's, side of things, the case that her attorneys presented, they took so many notes. They took so many details of everything. Whereas I just think, honestly, they just might be mentally and emotionally drained from hearing these videos and hearing these audios and just seeing the demeanor, the vernacular, the way that Tasha K is going off on Cardi B in these videos and just saying anything and everything. And it's just awful. And I just can't even imagine what the jury feels like right now. But, Mr. Dennis Byron feels as though maybe this is Tasha K's thought process, that she can't get to Cardi B any other way, but continuing to say hurtful and damaging statements about Cardi B. And that maybe her approach is, if she could trigger Cardi B to have some sort of reaction or try to be angry or upset or respond to her, that could justify her behavior. But Cardi B is not, budging. She's not giving in. She's not taking the bait on that. But it's like, obviously Cardi B was affected by everything that Tasha K said online, because there were several attempts before we even got here for, Cardi B trying to work this out amicably without lawyers, without court, to just have her simply take this stuff down. And so Mr. Dennis Byron is hoping that Cardi B's attorneys see through that today and, basically try to nip it in the bud, right off the bat. That this is not an opportunity for you to try to make this about some fake relationship between you and Cardi B, and that we're going to stick to the facts and the questions that I have for you. So hopefully they see through that and see what it is. And so, basically Mr. Dennis Byron, he's waiting to see how this concludes. And then the other thing that he wanted to make a note is the federal judge for this case, Federal Judge William Ray II. He actually yesterday apologized to Tasha K's attorneys, and specifically apologized to Olga, because remember, he told her that she needs to go back to law school. But I understand it, even though it might be true, at the end of the day, there still has to be a level of professionalism and a level of decorum in a courtroom. This still is a federal case. This still is a courtroom. And that could be, something that could go against that judge in the event that, Tasha K's attorneys wanted to appeal something, or, wanted to take him to task on something. It technically is an inflammatory statement that the judge said against Tasha K's defense attorneys. So that was nice that he did apologize, but Mr. Dennis Byron was wondering, and I had thought about this too. I'm like, did he apologize because, maybe he was just stressed like everybody else and emotionally drained like everybody else? Or did he apologize because he read that review of Olga, the 1-star review that Tasha K gave, where she's just completely destroying her attorney? Who, if I would have saw a review like that, would have quit. Would have been like, oh, this is how you feel about me? Deuces. Find yourself another legal counsel at the Cracker Jacks box or LegalZoom or wherever she found, these attorneys. Lay away the lawyer, wherever she found this attorney. But maybe that might had something to do with it as well. Because up until this point, he's really just been dragging these attorneys every single day. So maybe he read that review and was like, oh. Maybe he's feeling sorry for the attorneys now and not Tasha K. But he did bring in the jury to make sure that they heard this apology, to make sure that, you know, there was order in the court. So, but it just sounds like everybody's just over this case. Everybody just wants, like, you know, to unwind, not unwind with Tasha K, but just unwind and, you know, relieve some stress, relieve the emotions and everything that's going on with this, because it has to be frustrating just putting your all into this case and going against a defense team that's basically incompetent, that's just like grasping at any type of straw to try to just get something going, and everybody seeing through it. You know, they try to get the trial delayed, they try to get a mistrial, they tried to paint all of these different scenarios against Cardi B to make it, you know, to just make it appear that she's racist or she's violent or she's something, and just none of it stuck because it was irrelevant. It didn't matter. It had nothing to do with defending the actual lies that Tasha K said about her. And so, you know, again, Mr. Dennis Byron was just saying that, you know, you have common sense in the legal world. You have common sense really in all aspects of business and everything else, but you do have times when you do lose your cool, or you do have times where you have a moment, you have a threshold, and sometimes that once you reach that threshold, you can't handle it. You let out your real feelings, and sometimes that professionalism goes out the window. So, but yeah. But, you know, Mr. Dennis Byron is questioning how much this review, Tasha K's review, now that it's been exposed, now that it's out there, how does that impact the courtroom? So, because the way that this was just brought to the attention and just kind of exploded in the social media world and all the content creators and everything else, is like, is this going to impact how people are looking at the lawyers and everything else? So, and then the jury is, you know, having a front row seat, of course, to all of this. So, you know, Mr. Dennis Byron is wondering how those statements are going to impact the jury. Because he had also said, again, it's like, as a juror, once you hear something, you can't unhear it. You can't unhear anything that Tasha K has said of any of the videos or any of the evidence. You can't unhear the judge dragging the defense attorneys for 2 weeks, but then today gives them an apology. Like, you still drag them for the 2 weeks. You still said what you said when you said it. So, like, saying that you needed to investigate if you could file a complaint against them to the bar while you were sitting judge on a case, it was just a lot. But then Mr. Dennis Byron was kind of just describing the layout of the courtroom, like where the reporters were, where the jury was sitting, and, you know, just really trying to get the energy up since we are close to the end, and, you know, see what the defense's case in chief is going to be at this point. What is going to be their strategy? What is going to be their approach at this point to get something going, to try to get something to be salvaged, because it's just been a hot mess at this point. So, because Tasha K was already accused of perjuring herself, so there's already going to be separate, you know, hearing and case for that. But Mr. Dennis Byron is hoping to speak to at least one of the jurors, you know, after the trial, whenever they get their access back or what have you, and potentially he could, you know, have a conversation with them on what they thought of everything, what they thought of a case this magnitude, and, you know, really try to get their perspective on things and how high profile it was, and if certain things impacted, you know, which way they were leaning towards or their deliberations and everything else. So I hope he gets that interview. I know he's going to get an interview with somebody who is going to speak on the case, and I cannot wait. We're going to already put it out there because we know it's going to happen. So then they shouted out, you know, the people who've been covering the trial, who've been there, you know, the past couple of weeks, which has primarily been himself, Sylvia, and Brittany Dobbins. He did shout out the lead attorney because the lead attorney is going to be popping in again today for the second time. So, but he just really wanted to emphasize, Mr. Dennis Byron, how much people have taken out of their lives to cover this trial, to give you the wall-to-wall trial updates and what is actually happening. And there's no bias. Like, everybody, I felt Brittany Dobbins gave a pretty fair account of what's going on. And she's a legal expert. She's an attorney herself. And even her, she was trying to say it in a nice way, but she still said it was a train wreck. So we've gotten a lot of people's perspectives on this case and all of the shenanigans that's happening in the courtroom. So I think definitely people are ready for this to wrap up. And then Mr. Dennis Byron is wondering the impact of this case depending on what the ruling is, because essentially there are certain content creators who are adopting, you know, Tasha K's style of blogging. Well, he says the blogger ladies, but Tasha K's style of blogging. And he basically put the question out there, do you want to be like the blogger lady? Do you want to end up in a courtroom based on, you know, things that you could have corrected easily? What do you think? And I see a lot of comparisons to Wendy Williams and Tasha K in terms of her approach. The one thing I would say, though, about Wendy Williams is even if she had a scandalous rumor, especially back in the day, this was like pre-social media, even if she had a scandalous rumor, she never put anything extra on it that was slanderous or defamatory the way that Tasha K has. Like if it was somebody having an affair or somebody who was on the down low or whatever it was, that was it. That was the story. It wasn't anything else that, oh, somebody is, you know, doing all of this and they have all these diseases. No. She kept it straight to whatever the tea was, and that was it. Didn't put any butter on it, didn't put on any icing on it, no cherry on top of it, no. Just whatever it was. But there were certain instances, because remember, she did have to like issue an apology to Diddy, I believe. And there were times she did do apologies and things of that nature. That has not happened for Tasha K. Tasha K has doubled down on everything and, you know, feels that she is within her rights to say whatever, even if it's a lie. So I am very curious to see what is going to happen based off the outcome of this case. Will she offer Cardi B an apology? That will be very interesting. As of now, I don't see it. But I feel like at the minimum, they have to take Tasha K's videos down pertaining to Cardi B, and they have to make it a point that she doesn't say Cardi B's name or references her or her family or even Offset ever again moving forward. I feel like at the minimum, before we even get to the damages, that should already be in place, and whatever they decide to do with the YouTube channel. Because one way or the other, they're going to need to get to this money. So that will be interesting. But that is all that I have for the latest recap that we have. I will be staying tuned to find out, you know, when we get that lunch update, whether it's a tweet or a live or what have you. And I will be back. I will be back to let you know what happened this morning. And I cannot wait. Let me know your guys' thoughts. React in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Those of you, if it's your first time viewing my channel, welcome. Please check out my playlist. I have a specific playlist pertaining to the daily trial updates of what is going on, of primarily what Mr. Dennis Byron has been reporting, both in the morning and in the afternoon and in the evening, on what is happening in that courtroom and what are some takeaways and everything else. So please check out that playlist dating back to last Monday when the trial began, so you guys can catch up on what the recaps were and what was said and everything else. To the rest of you, to my supporters, to everybody who has been just active and engaging in the comments and have come back several times to these videos and supported the channel, thank you so much. Blessings to each and every single one of you. I am truly grateful, thankful, and appreciative of each and every single one of you. We have grown in a very short amount of time, and you guys are awesome. You guys are amazing people. Thank you. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again soon.